Cooper, an American company since 1914.
Now here are Jordan Moore and John Jackson.
The Trojans live on ESPN LA 710 and Facebook Live. The Trojans wrestled control of the Pac-12 South on Saturday with a big win over Arizona. Head coach Clay Helton, captain Chris Hawkins, and new USC Hall of Fame member Chris Claiborne will break it down for us. Plus, senior leader Jordan Adams will be here to preview USC women's basketball, which starts on Friday. I am Jordan Moore, as always, alongside John Jackson and JJ. Special day for you on Saturday, too, man. You got to lead the team out of the tunnel. How hyped were you?
Man, they gave me the warning that you better get going really fast or else the team's going to get run over.
Fast guys in the team.
Exactly. I made sure that I stretched every fiber in my hamstrings to get out in front of that team. It was a lot of fun.
Let's find out what the coach thinks. Brought to you by Ralph's. Trojan fans get one free admission to the Ralph's Ultimate Tailgate Experience at select USC football home games. There's only one left. Purchase $35 of participating items at Ralph's. Look for the signs and tags in store. Every $35 you spend gets you one admission. How do you do, Coach? Let's scout JJ. We're always bugging you.
I tell you what, did a good
job.
You got to pick up your feet, or you don't want to go down. There's some people flying by you, but he did a great job.
Well, we in the pregame show talked up Khalil Tate like he was Mike Tyson in his prime, and this Arizona offense, you were able to hold them 140 yards below their season average. How did you do it?
We had preached just gap discipline and each player trusting the other to do his job. That we had seen in 4 games straight how people were so inclined to be able to take the eye candy of the quarterback and get out of a gap and let a running back split, or all of a sudden chase the back and somebody was supposed to have the quarterback. But I thought it was a great job by our defense, just playing very disciplined football. Got us a little bit in the third quarter with some trick plays, but overall to hold that team 100 yards under their rushing attack, only 380 on the night. They were a team that was averaging way over 500 yards a game. Very proud of our defensive squad.
You know, as you mentioned, it's almost a perfect first half. They had 94 yards on 35 plays in the first half. And you're right, the defense was spectacular. What is it about this defense that's starting to come together? Because they're playing as a cohesive unit. It looks like, step by step, when you watch the plays and how they're developing, they're really doing a great job of that.
Yeah, I thought it started with Clancy putting a really good game plan together and trusting the DBs. If you watch that game, we were really playing cover zero all night, and it was truly man on man outside. And we said, if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us throwing the ball, and we were going to try to do our best job of man coverage. And they go 14 of 31 on the night for a 45% completion ratio. Don't hit the big shots that they had been hitting in the 4 game priors. And I thought that was the big difference. You're hoping you're holed up in the back end. Credit the DBs, Isaiah Langley, Jack. I thought the 2 corners played phenomenally. Jane in the slot at nickel. Really a great team effort by that group.
Arizona had allowed 5 sacks the entire season. You got 5 in this game, and we started looking at sack numbers today. Right now you lead the nation in that category. What's gone on with the pass rush that you've been able to really do it as a collective? Because going into the season, if I had to guess who was going to lead your team in sacks, it'd be Port Augustine, who's been hampered with injuries most of the season. But still, you're putting up sack numbers that have not been seen around here in a long time.
Yeah, again, a group effort. You think of Uchenna Owosu off the edge, Rasheem inside. Even Jordan Iosefa got into the act last night. It is a true group effort, even with Christian was there when he was out. Rector was there, and I think it's credit to KU and to Johnny Nansen and their coaching of those kids. They've got them playing terrific as a group. A credit to Clancy. Whether it's 4-man pressure or him bringing the house, he's dialing up the right calls, and the kids are executing it. And it's helping us right now, really, in this league, a passing league.
Yeah,
you got to affect the quarterback.
Another thing that made it tough on Arizona that night was your offense, defense, especially working together in terms of field position and putting them in tough spots. Their best field position was the Arizona 35-yard line in terms of where they were at their starting point, and many times it was back near the 20-yard line. How much did that really play into your team playing as a team to shape that type of statistic?
Yeah, we talked about We talked about offensively that we needed to be a ball control offense to limit their opportunities and to switch field position, that we needed to, one, win the rushing battle. We thought by winning the rushing battle, which we did on the night, that would set up a time of possession, limit their plays. We had to win the play count. We won at 78-74. Time of possession was 34 minutes to 26 minutes. And all of a sudden, that offense that usually is a 90-play-plus offense got less opportunities. And I thought our kids played terrific up front, allowing that run game to go, created some one-on-one matchups outside, and for the most part, the quarterback and the wide receivers really made their plays.
Is that why you came out running? Because we've talked a lot in recent weeks about passing to set up the run, but in this one, boy, I think the first few plays were all runs.
Yeah, we really came to the park to run the football. We knew we had to win the rushing battle, that we needed to play great team football. That was the game plan going in, and I thought T really stuck to it. I thought he did a tremendous job. Even when things got tight there, 35-35, we leaned on the rushing attack again to really finish the game, and that's what we talk about, running the ball when you must to win games, and I thought it came through again.
And you're getting a great start from your team, and that sort of sets the momentum for the rest of the game. It's the second week in a row. I mean, Arizona State was the same thing. You came out on fire. This week, the first 8 possessions, 5 punts, a fumble recovery, and 2 field goals. That's all they had for their first 8 possessions, which, of course, against one of the leading scoring teams in the conference. A huge accomplishment. I want to credit myself because I was the one that led the team out of the
totally.
game. But
no question.
I would say that there was some football that had to do with that start. What is it about this team getting off to good starts?
I tell you, especially the last 2 weeks, I think they've had their jaw set coming out of the tunnel, and they know what's on the line. We're in playoff football. We've talked about it every day. Round 1 was Arizona State, the second round was Arizona, and now we sit here with the opportunity to go to Colorado and the opportunity to close out a Pac-12 South championship. Got a good Colorado team, got to do our job, got to prepare just like we have the last 2 weeks.
You know, we talk about sort of assessing where things are. It's after 10 games. We're starting to look at Ronald Jones and assessing where he's at over 3 seasons, and back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, first to do that since Lendale White at USC. If he has a good day on Saturday, he could be up, I believe, to 6th in the all-time rushing list at tailback U. If the NFL calls you this year, next year, whenever Ronald decides to make that decision and says, what makes him special, what makes him a great running back, what's your answer?
I am so proud of him because of the work that he's put in from day one to where he is now. Mm-hmm. And now you looked at a great runner coming in here as a freshman, and now you're looking at a guy that can catch out the backfield. How about the wheel route catch he makes?
Yeah. Great throw too.
Has learned how to pass protect at a high level. He's really become an every down back, and I'm very, very proud of him. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Congratulations to him. Just a great player, and he's really leading our football team here down the stretch.
You got what I would think was the best game for John Houston of this year in terms of how he played in that game. And it was a game that sort of needed him to play well because he is one of the faster linebackers that can get to the edge and slow Khalil Tate down in that type of attack. Talk about his game on Saturday. Led the team in tackles.
Yeah, I thought all our kids. You could see the athleticism of our defensive front. You know, whether it's John, Cam, Jordan on the edge, Uchenna on the edge. You really had to have athletes out there to be able to get Khalil down and get J.J. Taylor down too. I mean, just 2 dynamic athletes, and it seemed like John was all over the place. And then the last interception that he made, what a terrific play to end the game. By far his best game of the season.
All right, it's the Chevy closeout, and the 2017s are going fast. Find special closeout pricing on many of Chevy's most popular 2017 models like Silverado, Tahoe, and Traverse. Visit your Southern California dealer or call SoCal Chevy. Or go to SoCalChevy.com today. Hey, reminder to our Facebook audience, throw some questions in for Coach. I'll see if I can get some here during the commercial break, and we'll fire away. We're headed to Colorado this weekend, a trip to Boulder. We'll talk to Coach about it next on Trojans Live. Jordan Moore, John Jackson, and the head coach, Clay Helton here. And we're counting down to kickoff. Courtesy of Mito, Swiss watches since 1918, the official timekeeper of USA Athletics. Be the first to own the Fight On limited edition timepiece. True Trojan fans visit shopmito.com/USC. That's shopmito, MIDO.com/USC. All right, Coach, you are 1 win away from a Pac-12 South title. Easy to stay with that playoff messaging this week. I mean, you've sort of made it to the end of the first part of the playoffs, and you have a chance to close out on the road.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, going back on the road against a Colorado team that has talent on both sides of the ball. I think preparation is going to be key. Going to face a 3-4 front, odd front again this week in Colorado, and face two skilled players, I think, in Montez and Lindsey in the backfield that are pretty dynamic. So we'll have our work cut out for us again.
Let's talk about Lindsey first. He's third in the conference in terms of rushing from the in rush offense in the conference. What makes him as good as he is?
Durability.
Okay.
He's one of those kids that can carry the ball. He's carried the ball in one game 40 times and is terrific out of the backfield. My last memory is him running a wheel route on us last year for a big play. But he's just been a great player in our league for many years now, and they lean on him, and when he's going, their offense is going. So it's going to be a challenge to be able to not only stop him, but they're running Montez as well, who's a good athlete that can move the chains and create big plays with his legs.
And what do you see from them defensively?
It's a 3-4 scheme that brings zone pressures, can get to the quarterback, have good personnel. They're playing extremely hard, and matter of fact, before coming over here, I just got done watching them playing Washington and how well they did in the first half of that game against Washington. They're a prideful group. I think Coach Mack has done a wonderful job bringing in quality personnel into that program and developing them, and they're always hard to face.
You talk about their 3-4 defense, and Clancy also runs a 3-4 defense, so it's not unfamiliar to you. But it is tougher when the nose guard is really good, which is what's happening in this situation here. What kind of different challenges does it present for the offense going against a team like this that's really strong in the middle?
Yeah, definitely. When you have that big nose tackle, this one's 350 pounds, it makes him hard to move. And, you're having to create double team blocks that ends up having linebackers freed up, and that's the key to the 3-4 is to try to keep the linebackers free so they can make the tackles. You won't see huge numbers by your nose tackle, but they just eat up two blockers always, and then you look up and the Mike Backer's got 16 or 18 tackles in the game. The nose has done his job.
Right.
You'll be shocked to know a lot of the Facebook Live questions are about the refereeing. Let me broach the topic this way. That third quarter, I believe, took more than an hour on the clock. It's a late game to start with. It emptied out a lot of the building. I'm sure you won't make this excuse, but I thought it just sort of flattened out the defense and sort of coincided with the kickoff. But forgetting that, what could be done to expedite some of these things that are happening in college football? It's not just USC games where we're seeing this. What could be done to we always talk about pace of play in baseball, but it feels like it might be a relevant conversation now in college football.
Yeah, you're going to have games that are clean, and then you're going to have some games that go against you penalty-wise, and we got into one of those games. I think it's critical for your football team to be able to overcome that type of game, and I was really proud of our kids because you don't make excuses. If it's 1st and 20, you got 3 plays to make a first down, and whether it stops the flow or not, we got to go do our job. And I thought at the end of the day, to overcome 14 penalties in a game is a credit to the mindset, the mental toughness of our football team to be able to say, okay, hey, take the next step, let's move on, and let's stay mentally focused.
Do you think too much is reviewed now, or do you think that that's just, hey, with the way cameras are, it's just the way that sports and football are going to be played?
We haven't dealt with a ton of the targeting penalties.
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch
On
of
TV.
them on TV.
Yeah.
That was really the first time I felt it, to be honest with you. And they're trying to get it right. A referee called for targeting, they check it, and then the other time the video person saw it and wanted to check it. But that's really the first time that I have felt it all year. Now I've seen a bunch on TV, but it does affect the pace a little bit. But at the end of the day, you want your referees to get it right, make the right call. Don't let a kid leave a game for making a wrong call.
Right.
And so you got to put up with it and do your job.
And I know that you hold the kids accountable for the penalties in terms of the ones they're responsible for. The one that obviously stuck out the most was really changed the momentum of the game, I thought at the time, was the one with Jack and the Gen A excessive celebration. You know, that one had. What's the teaching point to them, and did you think that was overly excessive what they did?
You know how skilled players are, and I love them. I've been around some really talented skilled players, both wideouts and DBs, and I love the kids having enthusiasm. I love them celebrating together, but obviously there's a right and wrong way to celebrate, and when you're high-fiving or you're jumping and chest bumping, that's great, but you don't want to be overly excessive. We talked about the decision-making in those today in our team meeting. Hey, we want to have fun. We want to celebrate with each other. That's part of the game. That's the passion of the game. I never want to ever take that away from the kids. But also, we have to do the right thing decision-making wise, because that was a 3-and-out. That was the opportunity to get the ball back with great field position, and instead it led to them pushing the ball down the field. Luckily, we got a turnover from it, but that decision making has to be evident for us.
And what was the explanation from the officials? Because I didn't see it. I just knew that, because they usually run down to the band side and, you know, whatever they do. I mean, I thought that that's sort of part of it, right?
I believe they were taking pantomime photos of each other.
Yeah.
I think it's just generational.
Yeah.
But
I'm telling you, it's just generational.
Was it towards their bench? I mean, what?
No.
Yeah. So what?
It was two kids having fun.
Right.
Yeah. Two kids having fun, and it was one of those nights. You know,
That's the best way to put it.
It was one of
Do you do anything for the altitude? Do you believe in any altitude tricks when you're traveling to Mile High?
No, you know, we'll get there. We're going to get there early. Try to get acclimated. We'll be there early Friday afternoon, and it's an early game. Thank goodness.
Yes, thank goodness.
2 o'clock.
Anyone standing outside.
Looking forward
Doesn't
to that.
matter to me.
Yes. All right, we'll let you go, Coach. You've got work to do to prepare. 8-2 coming in, and a big one, a chance to clinch the Pac-12 South on Saturday. The game kicks at 1 o'clock here on the West Coast, 2 o'clock where we'll be in the Mountain Time Zone. It's on Fox, and, of course, right here on ESPN LA 710. Cooper Tires knows that the 4 tires in your vehicle are what connect you to the road and help keep you safe. Count on Cooper and visit coopertires.com today. Chris Hawkins is next on Trojans Live.